Hello, sir, madam. My name is Lorthorn, and I think I may have a mod that you would find interesting. Prefab, a mod that lets you place prefabricated structures in the world. Now, not only is this mod both in Fabric and Forge, but is designed for creative and survival mode, which gives it a little bit of a pop, wouldn't you think? With this full integration, not only can you creatively enter into your menu and find the objects for this mod, but you can also fully create anything within it. So, with that, let's take a look and showcase for you Prefab. Now first, a demo of the mod, I believe, is in order. Whenever you start your game, you will enter your world survival or in creative with the object of the starting house, this blueprint within your hand. You can find a nice plot of land, right here will do, to then activate placing down your building prefabrication. Simply right click with the prefab and it'll give you a whole bunch of different buildings to work with. The little red dot is where you currently have clicked, and from there where the building will spawn. Then you choose the build you want, click build, and it shall be produced for you, lickety split, just like that. You have yourself a prefabricated building placed into the world for your own usage and enjoyment to modify or live in as you see fit. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few different prefabricated blueprints. Many of them have multiple objects within the prefab blueprint for what to create, while others have a single building they can generate. As I said, you can craft a lot of these buildings, but they happen to have objects not normally seen for their crafting recipes, such as double compressed obsidian or triple compressed stone. These objects are made quite as simply as you think they would be, simply by combining together a whole bunch of the said object in a crafting table. As an example, we shall take these stone blocks, place them within the crafting table, and create compressed stone. And there you have how to craft the basic building blocks found within this mod, with the understanding of how basic resources work, such as the compressed chests surrounding an ender chest with a bunch of other chests, the brick piles just being a bunch of bricks together, the so on and so forths, and the nuances understood within this mod. We can now get into me showing off to you all of the prefabricated buildings and make a case for why you should install this mod. To begin with, we have the starting house. Let's place them all down in a row. Now let's take a look inside. The first building we are going to be looking at is the basic house of the basic style of the starting house. You can enter within this house, lovely brick, with a trapdoor. It's got some excellent storage place for all your needs. You will find that in all the starting houses, in at least one of the chests, will be some lovely starting gear for you. It's got a bed, good lighting, solid material, and it has a trapdoor which lets you descend into the basement and gather up the material it is dug out for you and proceed with your mining from there. The outside style is quite rustic. It has space for your very own farm and is a good place to start off your journey with. The next style of starting house is the ranch style. The ranch style offers you the comfort of a fenced off entrance and your garden out front, as well as a sign to let people know it's your house. Lovely hedge out front and a highly styled door. Good red flooring, a little less storage space than the last starting house, and also a basement subcompartment. It is a bit of a cheery style, definitely for the rustic type. Next we have the loft style, a bit more of a fancy house, made out of quartz with some roses around the outside, nice vaulted windows, its own little garden fenced off within, and the lovely pillars you see only in the highest of classes. Within, it has a very simple bed, basement, subfloor, and it has an upstairs loft for all of your storage needs. Again, a little less storage, but the style makes up for that. Something to note about all buildings is when you place them down, you can choose the bed color and what color you wish the glass to be. So you don't have to be stuck with the boring colors, but can go for pink, grays, cyans, purples, or the classic clear. Also, you can choose if you want chests to be added, if you want chest contents to be added, or if you want the mine shaft to be there. you'll find a long list of options when it comes to every single house on what is included within it. Buildings can also override other buildings' placements and be easy to use if in case you make a mistake. After the loft style, we have the Hobbit home. It is situated on a lovely tree, well lit up, disguises itself well into the landscape, and is definitely for the nature-loving folk or those enthralled by the Lord of the Rings. Simple storage right off front and center. Its own little crafting station with a good basement, some extra space for whatever you may need, and a cozy little bedroom. Its window is not the easiest to look out, but it does allow you to look upon the garden. And all in all, the style is quite attractive and well attached to nature. Behind it, we have the desert style. It too manages to boast its own garden, has some withered plants outside as well as those lovely Egyptian columns, and is in the style of a pyramid, which is all the fad and rad these days. Within you'll find its supply chest and 2 other storage chests, as well as its own bed and furnace supplied with its own source of coal. It is a good home if you wish to live and blend in with the desert. Speaking of blending in, is the snowy style house, perfect for living in a winter wonderland. Still managing to have a garden, it is made of ice, but its chilly interior does not stop from its warm, homely feeling, spreading out its storage chests in a manner reminiscent of a scattered style a certain YouTuber imposes. It is nevertheless still a very comforting and well put together place. The floor is made of polished diorite, which I have been told is very fanciful, and many of the people among the fairer sex do like it. Desert Style 2 is the next building on our list. It has its own lantern out front, a stylish illumination to let people know you live here, and unlike the last one being made of sandstone, this one's base is stripped birch bark wood. It's got its own very cozy camping spot to sit out on the long desert nights, some fancy cactus and trees glowing out front. It has a space below it where you can access the trapdoor to the subcompartment of the basement, a small garden, as well as its own sugarcane growing, and leaves to give it that environment of feeling like you're still attached to the natural world. It boasts an open entrance style, lowering privacy but making it feel just that much better and freer, and has its own 2 furnaces, and moves from using chests as storage to the much more stylish barrel, hosting less space but being just in fashion for this spring. Next we have the Subnautic style home, which submerges itself in its own source of water. Designed to be placed in deep water, this showcase will still offer you a good example of what to expect when entering within one of these buildings. It has its own sub-water entrance which will clear out open airspace, and then you can swim up within to the structure. Very open entrance. Water does happen to drip in. We cannot control that, unfortunately. It hosts its own storage and still manages to have a garden hidden within itself that then leads to the basement. A pleasant home for those who wish to live under the sea. I have been informed that oh how happy your life could be if you lived within this house. Proceeding from the subnautical adventure, we have the modern house style, already starting off with a blue carpeted checker style leading up to the home. Its own basement attached to the outside instead of the inside to help with insulation heating builds. It boasts and hosts a rather large garden, has some lovely chocolatey doors. Bamboo naturally grows in size, and there is a library to show off just how much knowledge you have. Its floor is a pleasant mix of cyan and white, and it has storage disguised as a table to let people think that you are with it. The upstairs is a grand double bed for you and your companion, and you have a nice bedboard of flowers above you to give you that lovely scent in the morning. This house is definitely for the modern couples out there. But if you want to get back to nature from all of these fancy houses, then you can choose to start with the camping site. Still able to have its own garden, a basement floor, and some lovely storage with the fire burning brightly and happily. It also has 2 beds, again for couples to enjoy each other's companies, while not being too complicated or gaudy. And finally, we have the Isban style of home, hosting a rather large fenced-off yard, a simple yet wintry style that reminds me of my own home. It is raised slightly off the ground and has some lovely wooden pillars in its design. Within you'll find an oven surrounded by terracotta, a simple bed with its own bedboard, and a stand to step up onto. It has its own table within, some good storage, and in case you want to hang some portraits, that is available. The upstairs loft is ready to be renovated into your secondary bedroom for guests, or perhaps your very own man cave. And the basement is a rather small crawl space that has extensive storage within that one may find troubling to access. To alleviate these troubles, simply re-renovate the floor and you'll find you have a large amount of storage, unlike many of the other houses. Definitely a good place for a secret base below the baseboard. And with that, we have completed all the houses that you can find within the starting home. But worry not, there are far more buildings to go through, and go through them we shall. Next, we have the bridges. Bridges are very cheap to create, only taking double compressed stone and some torches to create. They allow for the crossing of bodies of water with great ease. You can adjust their length and their interior height, include a roof or not, and choose which materials they happen to be made out of. A simple wooden bridge for crossing chasms, or an underground bridge for crossing the underground while still getting a view of the outside. You would be surprised by the many uses you can put these bridges to, and for their price they are well worth the making of. The moderate house is the upgrade of the starting house. Simply put 3 starting houses together, a rather cheap recipe to come across, and you shall get yourself the blueprint for the modern house. You shall get the blueprint for the moderate house, for the moderate man. The moderate houses also have a variety of styles, and so we shall lay them out for you, and then explore within to mine and yours satisfaction. You will find that the moderate home is much larger than the starting home, boasting enough space to support a family. I would recommend considering one of these buildings if you wish to live in a greater space of comfort and care, as well as having the opportunity to get your parents off your back for wishing to hear the patter of little feet. The first of these moderate homes is the spruce house. It has a large garden for growing food, and a nice crop of spruce trees out back. It boasts 2 stories, both fully furnished, and a wonderful brick roof. The windows looking out on the scenery are quite majestic, and the doors automatically close behind you. It has the capability to cook food and make objects for the working man, has its very own chests ready to be filled with your new creations and supplies, has its own sub-basement to go within to do your various different works and ruminations, smithing equipment, a jukebox, and a full proper ground floor bedroom beneath the staircase with its own windows. Up the staircase you will find a rather lovely living room and kitchen with its own shelf of books to entertain guests or be entertained yourself, as well as the balconies to look out on your own forest or perhaps the landscape at large. It has an attic accessible via ladder if one would so desire, which has many building materials within, perfect for renovation, clearing up those cobwebs, or perhaps storage or any other number of ideas, including mad science lab, a place to bring guests, and, well, many other things you could put your imagination to. Slightly more modest in size is the acacia house, with lovely majestic acacia trees surrounding it, and a well-structured ceiling, only being 1 story tall, yet boasting a plethora of space within. It has its very own attic, hidden away by the grand staircase when you enter. It has a table and a double bed for you and your partner, good storage space on the sides, and a very well put together basement hiding the true extent of the interior of this building, allowing for a great deal of storage, much additions and workshops within, and its very own basement. It also has an open air plan for ventilation, with its windows being iron bars, giving you that wonderful feeling of home after you've left the prison. We have the Earthen Home, a lovely house rising out of the ground in an equally lovely hill. Within you will find the start to your garden and a window to the outside world, which could be expanded upon if one so wished. And then you descend down into a rather contained, small, humble, but homely space with its own bed, potted plant, and a workshop for all sorts of trades and crafts, a jukebox to provide soothing tunes, and a basement addition to your basement to go down. The divider to your room does lack privacy, but that privacy is well made up for with your house being deeply below ground. The next home takes a different approach to privacy. Instead of being below ground, the jungle home is high within the air. Its basement can be accessed by its own small room, or you can choose to climb up to the next floors upon the vine, first getting your balcony view for your welcoming guests, before choosing to clamber up higher into your home. This house definitely promotes a healthy living style, as it takes quite a bit of physical strength to get up to the garden level and beyond. The bedroom is laid out quite nicely with its own stand for clothing and large windows. A balcony provides an overview of the landscape, and it carries up onto the next floor with its brick roof and storage spaces, as well as furnaces to do your cooking and crafting with. An outdoor entrance up here can be simply installed by punching out the windows and exiting onto the leaves. For our insurance policy in this demo, we ask that you not do this yourself. If you wish to live within the nether or just have that sinister style in the overwood, then I would recommend the Nether House. It is made out of basalt and warped gross stuff on the ground and looks very sinister indeed. Within these bluish doors you will find a saw being one of the first things that meets your view, and the lighting is provided by shroom light. Blue windows provide excellent visibility to the outside, and there is a lot of storage spaces next to your bed. Try not to sleep though when you are in the other place, it's a bad idea. You get your very own Nether Sweet Nether sign, and a basement that leads down to your garden. Below said basement is yet another basement that leads deep down into whatever mining or hellish hell pits you wish to go to. The stylish staircase up can also have a doorway installed below to give a secondary access to the garden. Please contact a professional contractor to have this work done for you, as attempting to do it for yourself may result in your house burning down. Now, if you want a stylish home in the side of your mountain home, then I would recommend the Mountain House. Simply put it down in front of a mountain so it intersects with the mountain side, and you'll get a home that can be rather unpleasant looking at an initial glance, but when you consider it will be making itself a part of the mountainside, can be quite attractive, boasting window and waterfall, as well as wooden supports for a fancy style. The wooden entrance is quite charming. Immediately, the storage is in barrels that look like kegs of beer for those dwarven lords who wish to feel lordly in their dwarven home. You have your workshop set up, and you can look out the window when working in your workshop, your basement to further mining below, and your bed to look out at the landscape and sleep with. The garden can be accessed by installing ladders to the walls and climbing up to find it in all its glory. Illuminated by paper lanterns, this will give you a supply of food in your mountainside, or can be expanded further out the back and into the mountain to see what is beyond. And beyond this is the Acacia House Mark II, Boasting rather large trees out front and a lit up courtyard, it has a wonderful access to below ground where you can keep all your chickens and various other pets, such as cows, wolves, or dragons. Upstairs you will find a rather simple house on top of its stilts, resplendent with a double bed, full proper storage and crafting capabilities, and an attic suite with its very own library and open air to look out upon the savannah within the acacia home. Now, if you want a more modern home for your moderate home, then I would recommend creating the modern home. A rather pretentious bit of drivel, which comes with its very own swimming pool, which does need to be cleaned on the regular. This house pretends to be open, while actually supporting a large amount of privacy. Even with its open glass design, you'll find it hard to look within with all the gaudiness outside of it and within it. The imported jungle tree with the cocoa beans out front adds a touch of aristocratic prestige to the building's operations. Underneath the checker patterned boarding, you can enter into a home of white quartz and clear glass. You can find the full amenities of a bathroom with closing toilet lid, proper shower, and bathtub, as well as its very own portraits and paintings on the wall. Out back, you will find the back entrance, which leads to a hedgerows so your neighbours cannot nose their way in. Storage is provided inside, and it has a kitchen with a fridge, a basement access, and stoves, as well as more paintings of a karate man fighting a giant finger. The staircase can be found along the front window, and when you head upstairs, you enter within a very strange sleeping arrangement with one bed on one side and another bed on the other. Access to libraries and reading, perhaps to get some writing done. While you figure out what your book is, you can work at Starbucks or some such thing, or live off mummy and daddy's money. And then you have a fully equipped dancing carpet for all your dancing needs, and some wonderful lighting. The modern home is truly an expression and an experience of the modern lifestyle. To make you feel more open air plan, vandalize the windows of your neighbor. They deserve to have their house feel nice and well aerated. Now, if housing is not your jam, then may I present to you the defensive bunker. The defensive bunker is for some reason built above ground, hosting a large iron fence and having obsidian rooms, perhaps to build further defenses underneath. This strangely put together tower has simple entrances and a lot of broken ladders in it. Reinstall the ladders to climb to the next levels of your above ground bunker and hold your defensive paintball tournaments in such buildings like these, as well as other abandoned and such silly places. If bunkers are not your style, then may I recommend perhaps building a mineshaft entrance. It has its very own bed within, which colors can be chosen, and it is a very simple and humble building. A storage chest, furnace, crafting table, bed, and shaft entrance for one's own pleasure, and a chest within to proceed with the mining. A simple yet simply practical building for the simple yet simply practical man. Another practical building is the Ender Gateway, a building that allows you to gateway to the end without having to go into that boring dungeon. Entering this building is a bit of a difficult process. It can be achieved by digging through the ceiling and entering within, but one will find invisible blocks exist everywhere within this rather strange building. These blocks seem to be entirely indestructible, and they also persist among certain walls while not existing among others. Still, a very good way to get yourself into the nether if you need to in a pinch. If that is not quite your speed though, then you can proceed on to a grassy plain. Go outside, touch some grass. You'll enjoy it. Next for you, we have the Magic Temple. Just look at this thing. It's like a weird pyramid on top of a pyramid that's on its back. Within the chocolatey doors, you find an enchantment table, chests, place to do some watery stuff, places to do some potiony stuff. Look at this, more chests, and rods of light, a very cool place. Although you do need to clean up the cobwebs. Watchtower. The watchtower is an excellent way to defend your home. There is the normal watchtower, Mark 1, a splendid vined-up building consisting of about 2 stories in height, with a 3rd floor on the top. Within you will find a bed, a chest for storage, a bit of crafting, and then you can head up to the very top and shoot arrows down at your enemies. There is also a second kind of watchtower for you to use, and that is the watchtower type 2. It is a taller, more secured one with less arrow slits. It too has a bed on the bottom and has a lovely security chain running down the center. It does not allow for firing out of the windows, but excellent visibility from these vantage points. Its staircases can be awkward at times, but it has a reinforced guard at the top, more storage, and spots for firing down at your enemies and keeping a lookout for trouble. The Welcome Center is a huge building. Thing's freaking massive. You can have classic bed colors. We're going to go with light blue this time. And just look at the size of this piece of prop. It has a full-blown chimney, illuminated roof, large expansive amount of greenery around the outside, and it has a nice open and welcoming interior. Into an art gallery, a bit of cobwebs that do need some cleaning. Besides that, it is an excellent place to take your family. It has a nice warm fireplace, a supply of cake for you to eat, some sitting arrangements, its own very nice bar to do some chatting from. It has a kitchen ready for use, and a downstairs basement for storing your melons and pumpkins and various other drinks and drafts and drabs. Within the kitchen there is also a secret storage room and jukebox player, which can be secluded away with the use of this lever, making it blend in perfectly with the environment. Libraries for simple reading, and upstairs you will find nice carpeted warm spaces and a bunkhouse set up for quick and easy travel when it comes to sleeping, as well as storage and additional furnaces, and then a more sophisticated bedroom for the couples on the move. And do not underestimate the civil floor, which allows for dancing and also putting up rules for people coming in if you wish to welcome them into your server, as we could say, no heavy petting. There we go. And no furry freaks. Normal furries allowed. Brilliant. And for those that do break the rules, you can put them in your jail. It has its very own office and warden at the front, a gated interior. You can control the cells internally, opening up the gates to the yard and the cells with the flick of a lever. Has storage spaces and another lever to open the interior doors. Looking back at the cells, it allows for a whole 4 storage residents with their very own toilets in each cell and windows. A high luxury in today's quality of cell. They even have communications with their cell partners along the next row through these windows. An open yard allows your prisoners to get some exercise, and they are well illuminated to allow even exercise at night. However, if running a prison is not your style, then perhaps you wish to have a business that is more equipped for the patronage of those who enjoy the time of day of high noon. Introducing the saloon. A large building made of birch planks with its very own watering hole and tether station for the horses. Within it has a bar set up with all the drinks you could want, and a lovely painting of a karate man fighting a police officer. More paintings illuminate the place. There's tables to sit and discuss at, long benches for the bigger crowds, a jukebox for playing that sweet, sweet music, and an upstairs compartment for storage of various different things that need the storing. Behind the back counter is a sword for security if the crowd gets a little too rowdy. Presenting next, the ski lodge. The ski lodge comes with its own snow and will annihilate any other building that gets in its way. It is a massive piece of property, with its very own garden outside that connects to the indoors. I've never seen a ski lodge like that. It comes with its own spruce tree out back, and is well built up, having some wonderful spruce wood framing and good old-fashioned thick stone wall. Within the ground floor, you'll find a ground fire to help deal with having two massive gaping holes in the walls when you're trying to warm up. Carpeted floors also help keep warm and get you ready to put on your skiing gear so you can head out to go down the mountainside. Upstairs, you will find a more open space that has wooden flooring for more comfort and slightly better insulated. More open empty rooms are available upstairs, as it is greatly unfurnished and seems to have had little planning in what furniture to put up here. Now, if you wish to mill the wheat that is inexplicably in your ski lodge, then I recommend adding the decorative building of the windmill. The windmill is a simple yet majestic structure, and it is not to be underestimated of its importance to society, nor how beautiful it is. And that is why we shall destroy it with placing a town hall where it once was. Now, as someone who has worked in several different government buildings, I can say this town hall is actually rather accurate in its interior. Its exterior has its own community garden, which is quite common to find. It's got some nice trees set outside for beautification, and while it is a squat building, it does not stop its majestics. Big spruce log pillars on the outside, and fully automated dooring on the inside. Lots of chairs for people to sit in when visiting, and access to the outside community garden is on the door to your left. A speaking stand with several books of the day of what subject matters are to be said exist here, such as blah, 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 blah. Indeed, you can tell I've worked in government. Sign and close. There we go. Lovely stuff. In the back room, there are researching offices, another very appropriate thing, although the windows outside don't exist in this much grandeur. Usually, you are in a dark cave, so these scribes have it a little bit better than usual. Around to the front is a conference meeting room with its own little projector screen, so you can send your slides or whatnot, show your vacation pictures to all your office friends, because even though you sit across the aisles from each other when doing government, you're all in it together, you filthy, corrupt scum. Nether gates, another link to hell, like the building right next to them, have two different styles. There is the ancient skull style, which allows you to have a giant T-Rex Tyrannosaurus skull with a gate to the nether. Offers a lovely perspective of exactly where you're going to. A very innovative and creative design to show that it actually looks like a gateway into a different world. The Krupp tree also has this style in it, however you must descend into the bowels of this ghastly, deciduous beast. Within you will find a smaller, yet still stylish nether gate, as well as lovely nether brick stairs to lead you in your path to damnation. A much more straightforward and perhaps healthier option than going to the building to our left. Now to you I present the workshop. And it is a splendid building, two massive stories of industry. Within you will find a humble yet extravagant entrance, a descent down into a basement level for you to commence mining for your workshop materials, a good space to live and set up shop. Well, upstairs, past the bench and the lamps, you'll find a simple yet pleasant interior with its very own leaves and paintings. Firstly and foremostly, on the left side, taking the turns, you will find the storage and industry room for blast furnace, smokers, and furnaces, all set up and ready to accept whatever you put into them. To the left, you will find the stairs and sugarcane farm. The sugarcane farm is an automated process of pressing the button and making an absolute mess. Up the stairs, you will find the interior and greater business, with its own double enchantment table, resplendent for up to 26th level enchantments, getting the most efficient of tools created. And you will find a bedroom and storage test system. This can be for the enchanted axes. It also has a loom, a saw, and a crafting bench ready to go, as well as an anvil and fires ready to cook tasty, tasty meat already provided. To your left, you can also find a garden ready to supply you with cacti for dye and growing spaces for plants. The advanced warehouse is much like the warehouse. However, for some reason, their order is confused. The warehouse is a large and practical building with many furnaces and storage spaces available within its compartments. The advanced warehouse is the same size and is much similar, although it does contain a jukebox for the jukey beats. It looks a little bit nicer, and the upstairs is equipped with alchemical and crafting stations, as well as a bit of smithing. The basic modern and the modern series will require several montages to get through, so bear with me here as we bring our time to the day. The fruit shop is a rather large building with many fruits available. It in fact has so many different varieties of fruit available that they are all apples, all ready to be purchased for the right price. Its back has a weird setup, and there is no apparent cashier, but my goodness does this building have fruit. If you've gotten a little too fruity, then mayhaps I recommend taking a break at the local cinema. The cinema has the lovely and most in-fashion colors, and has the most in-fashion pictures going on, such as man screaming while swinging a giant pot at the wither, and man lighting fire from behind a picture of a giant spider. Within you'll find some of the greatest hits, such as The Wither Part 3, Giant Spider Approaches Dark Temple, and the classic of man burning his hand over an open stove. There are seats for some light dining, a room to purchase your tickets to the current on shows. There is a washroom available for those who need it, with a very tall toilet that allows you to look down on people while you take a dump. The snack shed is fully stocked with alchemy and furnaces, ready to give you all the different snacks you want. And there is a coat check room, a thing that we miss in the modern day cinema. When you enter the theater, you shall be told to hush if you enter Theater 1 or Theater 2. You shall be in for a lovely show. It will be the greatest and biggest hit of the current century on the big screen for your enjoyment. You're about to watch a right banger. Apartments are for the modern man to live in his modern life, alone and sad and in limited space. However, gardens are provided for the modern man to feel a little less sad. The upstairs of the apartment consists of 5 stories and 5 living spaces. You enter within and find yourself at a staircase going up or in a room. The rooms have a balcony to look out upon the world and their own potted plant, a book to reflect on the misery of your situation, in a different colored bed for each different apartment. Up your grand white staircase, you can enter a yellow room, a pink room, a light blue room, or a cyan room. Each room comes with its own flower to help try to keep the morale up, a painting on the wall, and a desk for you to do your drone work from home while you're no longer allowed to go outside. The balcony does not have anti-jump protection, which will allow you to jump right into your neighbor's lovely pool at the Mini Hotel. The Mini Hotel is a lovely place to stay with your family, having a garden path, its own little patio cookout, and rooms for individuals, double beds, an outdoor closet, and a place to stuff the children. These buildings come with their very own apartments on each level and can be rented out to 4 to 8 families at a time, especially if some people are willing to sleep the nights on the outstairs stands. The pool, while not deep, is excellent for wading in and prevents drowning. The hedge around the outside also protects the nosy views of the wealthier patrons living in the country cottage or the villa. This wonderful building has quartz blocks and glass fencing, grand doors to keep the plebs out, and a good old hedge to block the view of the cars. It has its own depthy pool that allows for swimming to extent or relaxation, outdoor cooking arrangements, its very own harvestable field, a kitchen and dining area, and the upstairs has some lovely open air seating and offices to do a little bit of light reading or work while you're away at the cottage. Outdoor balcony has a bench to sit and watch the sunset from, while the upstairs story has the beds to relax with your loved one in. Restaurants are an excellent way to make money and an excellent way to lose money or a place to spend your time in. This restaurant here boasts big old signs along the walls for you to put down the current menus, like a big bag of juicy dinner. There is a television, which seems to always be broken, good old-fashioned brick seating, wonderful dark oak table spreads, paintings of the latest Donkey Kong speedrun, a washroom for both gents and ladies with paintings on the inside, sinks to wash your hands in, and a full-on shower. I think. What on earth is this? Once you are done ogling the washroom and the people inside the washroom, you can go to the kitchen counter, where they have the current pills set up nicely, and the kitchen's roaring in the background, as well as the back rooms. Oh, sorry, these are staff only. My apologies. There is also an outdoor dining area for this restaurant, which allows you to have a wonderful and romantic evening. And on special occasions, the wood boarding over top of you will be lit on fire to add the extra flair of romance. And when you are done at the restaurant and your date has left you, you can go to the good old juice shop to buy some juice. The juice shop is full of juice for the juice patronage. There's strawberry juice, mango juice, orange juice, pineapple juice, honey juice, water juice, and the ultimate juice seat for you to sit with all your juice. There are juice counters, juice bars, juice tables, and a whole lot of juice. It is a very juicy place. It has good lighting, excellent environment, and many sober, somber people to share your company with, and the last call is at 12. When you are done with the basic modern buildings, you can go to the moderate modern buildings for the moderate modern man. There is a moderate selection of buildings for you to look at in the moderate modern building, so let's moderately go through these modern buildings. Let us lay them out. And take a look inside the shopping center. It is called the Mall, or perhaps the Hall. It has a grand entrance of glass doors, which sometimes slide open, other times they don't work, and a large selection of products for you to peruse and buy from. Oh yes, look at all the various different things you can buy. So many options. A counter to complete your shopping from, and you can go upstairs to buy yet more products available for purchase. There is such variety in this store. There are dressing rooms to go do your dressing in and be watched by a giant painting of a skeleton. Or, in dressing room 2, you can be watched by a giant flaming skull. You can just have Sven watch you through this hole. And yet another option is you can remove both paintings and watch each other. And beyond the mall, you will find yourself at the water park. Installing a water park is an excellent source of extra revenue. The water park includes slides, which are quite exhilarating. A bridge over the water that can be swam underneath, for those who feel like taking risks. Sitting areas to talk and discuss. A few dining spaces, wonderful selection of food, and a staircase up to the ultimate slide, the Twister. This one only adults can ride, and it is great fun. The final slide of the water park is for only the most daredevilish of the daredevils, and that is the Whirlpool of Death. At first, it may appear like all the other water slides, exhilarating and fun to go down, but then you enter the Siphon. The water park is excellent for extra revenue and keeping the family entertained while you're out on your moderate modern holiday. Another great space to do your holidaying in and explore with the kids is the construction site. Buildings in progress are excellent to take the whole family, with their little work office trailer with a beds inside and various other bits of construction work, the empty dirt grounds full of gravel and concrete, the supplies laid out, the unprotected staircases, and the wonderful smell of sweaty men. Yes, I do love myself a good construction site. Libraries are excellent places to do learning and research. Within the library, you will find a big open source lighting for those who wish to read at the lecterns. Candles are placed strategically to burn the bookshelves down throughout the building, and the bookshelves are laid out in a very satisfying pattern. Below the staircase is the secret library room where you learn how to summon demons. Don't worry, there's a window for outsiders to watch you dance about naked while you pour ghost blood over your face. Upstairs in the library, among with the other candles laid out, are tables to do reading and eating, as well as the forbidden book section sealed off by these flimsy birch doors. Within these hollowed halls you shall find tales of eldritch horrors and necronomicons, means and ways to do necromancy and summon the undead, as well as how to convince your ex that she should take you back. Modern homes are a modern problem. How can you get your car out of the car park? This requires ingenuity. How can you open the door? Ingenuity. How do you not drown in your fish pond? Make it deep enough that even an idiot would not drown within it. How do you enjoy staring at the people in the cult room? Set up a table outside so you can watch them pour that goat's blood all over themselves. Where do you install extra shelving? Why, of course, outside. How do you get into your garage? By opening it. Where is the car? I don't know. Within the modern house, you will find a glass door which is always open to guests. Lecterns for reading, water for drinking, and a very saucy pink bed, which upon immediate entry you may find yourself hearing Cruel Romance or whatever that sax song played. The boo-da-doo, do-do-da-doo, the boo-da-doo, do-do-da-doo. After the romance has soured, you can go to the grey room upstairs with the grey tube coral fans and the grey beds, and look at your modern shelving and your weird modern flower holders, your outdoor grass planted upon the second story, and your big old honking windows, and yet another balcony which wraps around the outside of the building. Yes, the modern home is truly a classy building to live in, and a wonderful place to raise a family within, or to make a family within. There is also a gas station and a bank applied by the moderate modern building blueprints, but these buildings are rather uninteresting, and so I decided to skip this showcasing as I was getting bored of it all. The advanced modern building may surprise you. There is only one of them. It can have glass, it can have clear colors, and it is a doozy of a building. Containing 4 separate entrances, this large, what is it? Advanced modern tree thing is massive. The entrances are all quite similar and lead you to a lovely ground floor supporting bamboo trees. Climbing up the staircase, getting your cardio in, you'll find a sitting room. Outside the sitting room you shall find balconies mirroring each other but of 2 different styles. The normal balcony where you can have your dance parties, and the swimming pool with the water pouring down it. Well illuminated walls with wonderful foliage are within this hollowed rooms. The bedroom appears to be some sort of communist communal snuggling place. Although the beds are separated, that can be easily fixed with a bit of ingenuity, allowing for the most snuggly of wuggly rooms. There are storage chests, but when it comes to the advanced man, we will not need to have personal belongings or storage belonging to us. We shall get everything we want delivered by drone, including our books and lectures. But for now, it is always good to have a good book to take, because you don't want anyone else getting your book. It's my book. Up the staircase, you shall find the windows. Proceeding up higher into the building, you shall find a barely storage room where all your kombucha and fermented mushrooms are held. Outdoors, you will find your farms for growing things, the wonderful bee apiary keeping spot, your cane rooms for creating sweet sugar cane, and your melon and pumpkin balcony. Up yet further, you shall find the work area, where you can do glorious work for your comrades, including more storage spaces, smokers, furnaces, and upgrading of gear. Up even further, you can climb up onto the grassy roof and look out at the wonderful scenery, and understand the true glory of this modern world that you now live in, and own such a wonderful modern property until it is seized by the government and nationalized, just like your bank was. And now that everything has been nationalized, you shall be sent to the farm. There are many different buildings, including beef farms, berry farms, cactus farms, chicken coops, horse stables, elevated farms, multi-level farms, and rabbit hutches. All these buildings come furnished with their own wonderful creatures for which you can harvest and get your food from. The multi-advanced farm, well, pretty is nowhere near as practical as the multi-level farm. The stable does not come with its own horse, but you can put horses in it. The chicken coop comes with one chicken, and one must be careful not to let that chicken escape. But as we all know, chickens create more chickens asexually through the laying of eggs and then having those eggs thrown at their heads. The cactus farm will allow you to farm cactus. Don't ask how, it just works. The berry farm is wonderful for berries, and the beef farm brings all the beef and allows you to get more beefy cows. The starter farms are straightforward and a good start to farming. The more modern, moderate farms, though, are the real deal. They have much better farming situations contained within, such as the large chicken coop, the automated farm, the fish pond, the bee farm, the sugarcane farm, and the mushroom. Now you may be starting to wonder, are these factory farms? I don't know how you can factory farm mushrooms, so that's a no to that. As for the sugarcane farm, well yes, but it's an automated system, so don't worry about it. The bee farm has some wonderful bees for you to get your honey from and plant more plants. The fishing pond allows for fishing and is a relaxing spot, and no way, shape or form is a factory farm. It's actually quite lovely. It's got these good old vines here and is not dystopian whatsoever. The automated farming is not entirely automated, that is a lie. Its construction is a little bit strange, but clever. You simply press the button and it'll make the water pour down the slope. The water pours down the slope, collects the seeds and plants for you. Then you press the second button and it turns off all the water. All the products are then stored within the chests, and you plant additional seeds onto your automated farm. It is a wonderfully efficient system, and not factory farming whatsoever. There's still a small amount of self-work and a grand mindsets and good old-fashioned elbow grease. And the chicken farm, well, you just get eggs from it when you get eggs from the chicken farm, and there's no need to look inside the inner workings of the chicken farm to see just what it does. It's perfectly safe chickens. They just make the eggs and do what you need them to do. The advanced farms are much the same, including the bamboo farm, the bee farm, the melon farm, the barn, the greenhouse, the horse stable, the monster masher, the graveyard smasher, production farm, the tree farm. The greenhouse looks like your ordinary greenhouse, and is quite well suited for growing greenery on the inside, a wonderful environment safe from harm. The tree farm itself also allows for the growth of lovely trees, seating arrangements, and is a rather comfortable and nice place to take the family. The production farm allows for the production of various different crops, including normal crops, underground mushroom crops, nether crops, and sandy crops. Great big walls and excellent lighting provide a wonderful place for growing. The monster masher allows you to mash up monsters, get XP and enchantments and all those other wonderful, wonderful tasty things. The barn is a good place to store cows. Yes, good old healthy cow storage for those long nights. Stable, very similar. Good for keeping your slimes in if you're a slime rancher, or your horses in if you're a horse rancher. Nothing to see here that's wrong. The melon farm, why, it just gives you melons. When the melons have grown, you get melons. Nothing wrong with a melon farm giving you melons, now is there? And the bee farm, well, it gives you bees, honey. The bees make the honey, they give you the honey, and it automatically gets put into the containers, and if you ever need to refill it, you simply go around to the upside and restock the bottles. And why the bamboo farm is just a natural bamboo farm based on the properties of observation and simple door closing and opening, a simple, straightforward production that is not malicious in any way. And that is the advanced farms for you. And that... stretch. Yes, get yourself a nice stretch, everyone. Stretch out. Yes. You've been sitting here for a while now. This is a long video. And that is Prefab, with its myriad of new blocks, new things, and new stuff to look at. I hope you've enjoyed this production made by me, Lorthorn, and the showcasing of this mod, Prefabs, the prefabricated buildings for Minecraft. If you found this video useful or entertaining in any ways, I am glad for that. And if you have any other mods you would like to recommend me to cover in any style, which I find appropriate, or one that you would recommend, please go ahead and do so in the complaints department down below. And with that, I thank you very much for watching, and until next time, and as always, goodbye.